stories, the Central Bank of Nigeria has introduced a daily transaction limit of 100,000 naira per customer for cash-out transactions conducted by point-of-sale agents, otherwise known as POS, nationwide. The new directives from the Apex Bank also caps daily point-of-sales agent cash-outs at 1.2 million naira, while limiting individual weekly withdrawals to 500,000 naira across all transaction channels, putting further strain on access to liquid cash. But this is contained in a circular to all deposit money banks, microfinance banks, mobile money operators, and agents banking. The CBN also says the restriction is in line with its ongoing efforts to advance a cashless economy. Well, this comes days after the CBN slammed 150 million naira fine on banks issuing new notes to hawkers. And joining us to discuss the implication of the new CBN's directives and impact on economic activities ahead of the Yuletide is the fintech expert, Alepaye. Thank you so much for joining us on the news tonight. He joins us live from our Lagos studios. I mean, what do you make of this new directive from the Central Bank of Nigeria? POS agents have become crucial in promoting financial inclusion, and they've sort of played a huge role in bridging that gap between traditional bank and, Nigerians having cash. So what will this do to them?
I don't think this does anything generally bad to them. So we need to look at what they were, what the situation that brought them here in the first place.
Great, which is financial inclusion. So, I mean, the limit on their cash out and the cash in for operators and the limits they can get to the customers. There are already concerns that they will push back the cost of this to the customers. You already have high rates of exchange for the monies they give.
Yeah, so the way to look at this is, on the service level, you're no longer in quotes buying cash from POS agents. What this does is it moves it to the merchants. So what you see typically in the market or in the market these days is that POS agents would then put themselves with a bunch of merchants, yes, and then collect payments for them. I think what Central Bank is trying to do is, we want to know who merchants are, I want to know who mobile money agents are, and we want to separate them. We want people to pay for digital services, and we want people to be able to get cash and separate it. And we have a situation whereby there's no difference between those two situations in the market right now.
Great. So this new rule
is... what this does is that...
Go ahead.
Okay. So what this does is, if every merchant or everybody you pay currently has a POS terminal to collect money from, why then do you need to get money from a mobile money operator? Yes. Look at it. When last did you withdraw more than 10,000 naira at once? And what did you use it for? Everybody, we've got to a space in the market now where we're a lot more acclaimed to technology. People are accepting technology. People are accepting digital payments. I would pay for my Uber to this place with transfer. I would pay for food from my local restaurant with transfer. We've got to a point where digital financial services or digital financial solutions have been accepted. Now, the next step for us is, let's know where cash is going, and let's know who people are paying for products and services. So I think it's a good thing. I think it separates it, and I think it helps us. We've seen situations where people go to the market and they want to get cash, and they say, oh, I'm being told to buy cash. I think the sentiment will be very different if every merchant has a terminal to accept payments, and then it accept payments, regardless of how much it is. So if you buy paper 500 naira from your local vendor, you can pay via transfer or your card. What then would you need cash for? I think we'll get to a point where cash then gets relegated to change, to just the little things. Any major thing you want to buy, you have to pay for with transfer, card, or transfer, any other digital financial solutions.
But Lord, I like it that you said when we get there, because we cannot feign ignorance as to the role technology, fintech would play in our cashless policy. And I wonder if you feel that we have gotten to that place just yet. Many Nigerians still rely on cash, and even though this policy is trying to curb the cash we have in circulation, but technology fails you. your transactions have failed and not even reversed, and sometimes in days, and you're left stranded. So can we completely erase the cash you talk about? And it's not even little cash sometimes.
I don't agree with that entirely. And I think it comes from we're not being very honest with how far we've come. Now, in 2 years, you can now easily transfer 500 naira and people will take it. Yes. I remember very much in a time where any payment you had to get cash for, and that was difficult. I feel like most of the conversations around this is coming from very privileged Lagos or Abuja conversations where, okay, there's an ATM in your area. Now, when you speak to the rest of the country where there are no ATMs in close proximity, or it's somewhere like Ibadan where there's just a limited amount of ATMs, then and how does that work? So I think we should also remember how the ATM queues used to be before we got to this list. Now, again, we're not where we want to go. The cashless picture, the cashless program is a big deal, but we're making progress. And I'm a big fan of what we're doing. I'm a big fan of how much progress we've made. I'm a big fan of where we're going. But what I'm going to say now is we've made progress. We've made good progress. We're on the right track. We've got the right things in place. I can't remember a time where if you wanted to transfer money, you'd wait because nobody wants to collect transfer, because if it fails, then you have to go to the bank and take 2-3 weeks to reverse. We have a system where people now have confidence in transfers or even reversals. You no longer have to apply for your transfer to be reversed. Just your bank does it automatically. Now, I understand that not everybody is at that level playing yet. In the market, there's certain players that are in front and then the others are like catching up. But to say that we've not made progress is not fair. It's not a fair assessment. I think we're on the right path. I think we're doing all the right things.
Well, nobody has said we've not made progress. The question is, are we there yet to completely 100% go cashless was the question. As to the realities of Nigerians across the country, I mean, all you have to do is just go to the banks and see their customer care segment is always a challenge. But let me ask you, we've seen a situation where the CBN has even a challenge regulating or knowing the KPC, who are these POS operators. Do you think that this new regulation can be properly effected and implemented? How would you advise them to go about their checks to make sure this policy is not just a flash in the pan and the headline in newspapers and on broadcast stations?
Now, that's what this does. Because I've read the circular myself. That's what this does. This circular or this directive helps us label and identify who merchants are. Because one thing we've seen is people are collecting terminals claiming to be merchants and then being POS mobile money agents. Now, because it's different pricing and different onboarding, like different requirements for them, they're not the same thing. Yes, and I think what this does for us is this helps us differentiate them, treat them very differently, and we see how very differently things will go. We've seen situations where merchants, like regular merchants themselves, will sell you cash to buy stuff from them. So yeah, that's what this does. And this has put guardrails in place. If you're a merchant, there's certain things that are expected of you, certain things you cannot do. If you're a mobile money agent, there's certain things expected of you, certain things you cannot do. So yeah, all of this is to help protect the entire space. And again, we're not there yet. It's a big picture, but I think we've made progress and we're on the right track.
We love your optimistic view. Thank you so much, Boluwaji Alepaye, a fintech expert, for being on the news tonight. Thank you.